for today's cup of coffee. The project with the Jim Jones was another one of those that was so extensive, and after 2 days and reading about, 30 to 50 pages, tiny print, most of it conflicting, so that one's going to have to wait until another day. That, and then I got kind of derailed onto a few other things in the meantime.
Just a little bit.
I didn't take my Straterit today.
No, because you never do.
No, I do. If I have to go out, I usually try to take it. I knew I was staying in. No, if I'm driving, I do take it. I carry it in my pocketbook.
You carry it in your pocketbook, but you don't take it all the time.
So what we got today? Aliens. It was aliens. If there's ever a question, it was aliens. We have from Mysterious Universe today, and this is Nick Redfern. It's been a while since we've read something by Nick, hasn't it?
Tell me it's not the Flower Room one.
No. That's Brent Swanser.
Good.
That's Brent. No, Nick is pretty to the point. And he has...
That's what we need.
He has written quite a few books and stuff on this. So when you go to the link for this particular article, you can scroll on down to the end of the article, and it tells you about Mr. Redfern, and I think it may have links to some of his books and stuff. So, I encourage that.
Yeah.
So I can advertise for him because I'm using his story. He may not know it, but, it's okay.
I mean, that's all right. We are giving him credit.
Right. I'm citing him. He is my source. But this is the bizarre story of a legendary underground base, aliens, government projects, and more. Maybe. And he's talking about Dulce, and that's in New Mexico.
Is it Dulce or Dolce?
It's Dulce. I have listened.
There is Dolce and Gabbana.
I have listened to.
Which no one pronounces it as Dulce and Gabbana.
I have. Did you hear the man?
That does not sound correct.
Dulce.
That does not sound correct.
That's what it said. It's pronunciation guide on the YouTubes.
That is one video of how many.
And I have. Most
that's
of
like
these
Versace.
things.
Is it Versace or is it Versace?
Well, that's an Italian word, so it is, Versace. But now I looked at this on several other websites also. It's not that I don't try to pronounce this shit. It's just that a lot of times it does not translate into mountain speak. That's all there is to it. We're just not designed to say certain things. So I do the best I can with what I got every given day. Anyhow, Dulce is there in New Mexico. And since the late 1970s, rumors, have swirled around this place. And it's said that there is a secret facility that has been out of bounds to the U.S. government since 1979. Now, we can understand this because now some of these alphabet agencies, they're not part of the government.
Right. They're under the government. They're over the government.
Yeah, that's... We have
in, on, over, under.
They overshadow the government. And it said that the installation is under the complete control of hostile and deadly extraterrestrials, which are the so-called Greys. Now, this is the story. This is not... He's not saying this is, set in stone. Mm-hmm. I'm still working on the Georgia Guidestones, by the way. Okay. I've got all these projects on the back burner. So anyhow, it says that according to the story, it was in around 79 that a violent confrontation between military personnel and the aliens broke out, and that humans were the losers. It says the base, which was once a hub of a human and alien interaction, is now theirs. Because we lost.
Okay.
Witnesses talk of people going missing and of vast cavern-like rooms in which people are devoured by hungry aliens. Are the tales true? And if not, how did these rumors begin? So back to the mid to late 70s, and Paul Benowitz was a scientist who ran a company in Albuquerque called Thunder Scientific, which was quite literally backed into the well-guarded fences of Kirtland Air Force Base. And it was around 1978 that Benowitz, who had a pre-existing interest in UFOs, began to hear more and more so-called alien abduction events in and around Albuquerque and further up into northern New Mexico. On top of that, strange signals were picked up by Benowitz on his radio equipment. He saw weird-looking aircraft soaring silently across the skies over Kirtland late at night and in the early hours of the morning. He was given accounts of abductees. Hey, it's late in the day. Being secretly taken to Kirtland and grilled by U.S. intelligence agents who were...
literally grilled?
Well, hell, maybe that was the aliens. Maybe they're doing a little bit of prep for them.
Delicious food.
Yeah, well, here they taste like chicken, too. And that they were deeply concerned about the growing number of people seemingly being kidnapped from their homes and subjected to terrifying and bizarre experiments of a genetic nature. Benowitz came to believe that deadly ETs were secretly getting ready to take over the planet. They were planning on doing so from their command post deep below the town of Dulce. Worldwide invasion and the enslavement of the human race was lurking, as Benowitz saw it. I don't know that he didn't see it correctly.
I don't know.
Anyhow.
Either way, I don't know.
Benowitz prepared a dossier on his findings and theories. He called it Project Beta. So there's another one for me. Benowitz mailed copies of the controversial report to the FBI, to the CIA, to the NSA, to every branch of the military, and even to the White House. And he thought that people had to be warned. So that shows me right there that God loved him. He was a trusting soul that had no clue what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Benowitz was not written off as some kind of crazy person. It says that intelligence agents at Kirtland Air Force Base quickly established a secret liaison with Benowitz, and they warned him about digging any further into things that could be dangerous, even to his life. But these same agents also confided in Benowitz something incredible, that he was on the right track, and they did all they could do to keep Benowitz quiet.
Right.
Almost to the point of begging him to keep his mouth shut on what he knew. Right. Now, do these people beg anybody of anything? No. Oh no, they Epstein people, and they go on about their day and have coffee. It says, for Benowitz, though, this was like a red rag to a bull, and that somewhat veiled threat to keep his nose out of things only served to push him further for answers. As a result, U.S. intelligence fed Benowitz more and more horror stories of what was supposedly going on several miles below Dulce, including tales of aliens using captured people in their thousands as food. No wonder, given the nature of these stories, that they were coming directly from the military, that Benowitz became more and more paranoid. So in other words, they were just screwing this guy. Yeah, they were just brain breaking him. And eventually, he did become unhinged to the point where he ended up spending time in a local medical facility where he was treated for stress, anxiety, and finally thought to have, come to a complete mental collapse.
Poor guy.
Yeah, well, that can happen when you trust people and, they just screw around with you.
Yeah.
And it says that he did recover, but he was very careful and kept his distance from ufology. That's pitiful. They just, Says today some UFO researchers dismiss Benowitz's theories and conclusions, preferring instead to suspect that Benowitz had stumbled on not alien activity but top secret programs of the U.S. military and intelligence community. By steering Benowitz down a path filled with fictitious tales of dangerous aliens, the government would be able to divert him away from a far more down-to-earth truth. So the theory goes.
Right.
On the other hand, Benowitz, who died in 2003, still has a huge following of UFO sleuths who are absolutely certain that below Dulce something abominable is going on and has been for years, maybe even centuries. While Benowitz's Project Beta report does read like something straight out of the early years of the X-Files, there is absolutely no doubt that Dulce itself is a very weird place, one where strange activity has been reported for years, such as in the 1960s, the area around Dulce became the site of a classified U.S. Atomic Energy Commission program called Gas Buggy.
What the fuck is gas buggy?
Well, that's what this was. And it was part of a larger operation code named Plowshare.
What the heck is Plowshare?
I need to get a notebook with a schematic for this stuff.
Yeah.
The plan was to explode a significantly sized atomic device. Now, what does significantly sized mean?
Like larger than your head?
That's not specific. That's,
larger than your house. What
right.
What is their
right.
What is the basis of significance?
Kind of subjective, isn't it? Anyhow, they were going to detonate this thing underground, deep below the Carson National Forest, which is only a few miles from Dulce. The reason was to try and access massive and precious supplies of natural gas. Bullshit. And
that is bullshit.
Says that the bomb was detonated December the 10th, 1967, more than 4,000 feet below the surface. And although Plowshare program continued in the area until the late 1970s, have you noticed how all this shit until the 70s? Even today, digging underground in the area is strictly forbidden. Mm-hmm. And it says, in light of all of Benowitz's findings, it's not at all surprising that there are those in the UFO community who believe that the Plowshare program was actually a cover story, one created to mask the fact that the U.S. government had tried to destroy the alien base under Dulce with a nuclear weapon. That just such a weapon really was exploded underground and only a few minutes' drive from Dulce. That only ensures the rumors of an alien presence in the area. And that people who are warned not to dig underground only adds to the suspicions that something very sinister is going on there in Dulce. So it's clusterfuck is exactly what that is.
Yeah, that is a clusterfuck.
So, and this is how this works. It is designed to break brains. Now, you can screw yourself into the ground very easily on some of this stuff. Yeah. Especially if you take it to heart. I mean, even if it is so, what are you going to do about it? I mean, seriously.
Our brains are already screwed. So,
right. I think that's the reason it doesn't bother me that much. And it says in 1989, through the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, the FBI declassified into the public domain its extensive files on so-called cattle mutilations in the Dulce area, all of which occurred in the 1970s. Such mutilations have been reported all across the country since 1967, but Dulce is renowned for huge numbers of cases in its midst. Cattle are found lacking major organs, blood is removed from the bodies in astonishingly quick time, and black unmarked helicopters are seen in the areas of the mutilation, as are strange lights in the sky and UFOs. Incredibly, all these issues are disclosed at length in the FBI's official files on the mutilations in and around Dulce, all of which can be read online at the FBI's website, The Vault. Now, I have gone to The Vault, and it can be frustrating because that's where, you read one or two words, then you've got redaction, which means vast amounts of magic marker. Mm-hmm. For those of y'all who don't know what a magic marker was, that was before Sharpies. Those were the ones that smelled good.
Don't sniff the marker.
I like to sniff the markers. Maybe that's what happened to me.
Brain damage.
Well, no more so than anybody else these days. But that was an example of, rumors within rumors and plans within plans, and ultimately nobody knows shit about shit.
Isn't that always what it comes up to?
That's what it comes down to.
Rounds down to.
It's like,
Nobody knows shit about jack shit.
Yeah. So it's like, that's where you become.
I already knew that.
That's where you become very zen with things. You do what is set before you that day. Do it to the best of your ability. Be conscious and mindful of what you are doing. It's okay to ponder great ponders, which we do quite frequently.
Yeah.
But that is not our life.
No.
Because the pondering of the great ponderings is a relief to our real world.
Yeah.
And I think y'all just don't know. I mean, seriously, it is one of those that it has been so broad and so deep that's the reason reading stuff like this doesn't faze us. Because we have had to deal with worse.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as far as truly fighting government organizations, oh God, and the fight goes on. But you do what you do. Yeah, you do what you do. So, do you think that something is under Dulce? Should we make a trip out there someday?
I'm sorry, I don't want to get my head shot.
They didn't say anything about somebody getting their head shot.
I wouldn't mind having a head shot, but not like
right. It didn't say anything about that's Area 51 where they'd come out and threaten to shoot you.
Yeah, you're right.
But I think that some of those early aircraft that people wasn't it the stealth bomber and some of those things like that had been, They were secret, but they weren't secret.
Yeah, I think so.
Was that what it was? Was it the stealth?
I don't know. I think so.
It was the one that was V-shaped.
Oh, Lord. I have no idea what that one was called.
But
seriously.
Then there was like the lights over Phoenix, which that thing was supposed to be like miles wide.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it could be some of those projection things.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
And why don't you know? You usually have an opinion about everything else.
Depends on what it is.
So anyhow,
yeah,
he's short on words today, which is rare.
Shit.
We're just a few days away from the total solar eclipse, and according to Leo King, that is supposed to finish up a 19-year cycle.
What kind of cycle is it?
I don't know. We get to go on to something.
Cycle?
Yeah. And he said that some of that will not, it's not like it's just going to suddenly end on the 4th, that it'll be sometime into January until that new energy cycle begins.
Let's see, 19-year cycle. So when was it then that it started?
I think it was 2002 to the 2000 and... maybe 21. I guess that would be 19
Well, that
years.
makes sense because everything was still good in 2002 and before that.
Well, let's hope that we return to good. We're in a cycle now.
Music was still good.
We're in a cycle now, which everybody can see, that was very much like a couple of years before World War II started.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason there's so many similarities. These things repeat. And it was like they were talking about the 70s, and he had said probably about a year ago or so about that it being the same cycle as it was back in the 70s, which is why you have those horrible color schemes rearing their ugly heads again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except one thing. That 70s stuff that's coming back, and they're a little behind on trends because now Y2K is coming back, so they're way behind on the trend there.
Let me tell you what my hope is.
What?
The musical group Monster Truck. And that is some good rock. That is along the line of Southern rock. I don't know whether people have heard Kid Rock's newest release that he is singing. He's doing the rap part. Monster Truck it was originally their song. Don't Tell Me How to Live, I think is the name of it. I think it's become an anthem for many. Yeah.
Maybe.
But good groups. There were actually quite a few good groups coming out thanks to the internet, the fact that these record producers and record labels are no longer in control of the artist, that they can go on YouTube and some of the other sites, Odyssey, Rumble. There's something about Rumble I don't trust. Yeah, Spotify, anything like that. They can bypass all that stuff. They can go and sell their music online, and they can just middle finger to the record companies, the big record companies. So, yeah. But check out Monster Truck, another one, Small Town Titans. They're great.
Yes.
There's quite a few of them that are good. But, yeah, so that's a good part of the 70s. As far as Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that was in the 70s too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so was Rosemary's Baby and Exorcist.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you had a lot of stuff there in the 70s that some of those monster flicks, they took a really, really dark turn.
Along with Clockwork Orange.
Well, that was Kubrick. Kubrick is just odd. Now, the one movie that I had, Clockwork Orange was odd. That's all you can say. It was.
It's a good movie. It's a fucked up movie.
Yeah, that is not something you...
Do not let small kids watch that movie.
No, God, no, that is not a movie for anybody below the age of like 20. I'm joking about that. But I think it was one of his last projects, if not the last project, was Eyes Wide Shut, and I have not seen that. I've seen clips of it. But
did he die?
I think he did. And I know that there's been a lot of people that have alluded to that movie and the symbolism in it, and that it's just there is something that the enemy has to tell what they are going to do or are doing before they actually do. Absolutely.
Baby shark,
and that's some kind of universal law. That's why you've got all this self-disclosure and stuff.
Right.
So it's like hiding in plain sight on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And when you've got people that are spiritually blind, it doesn't matter. They're not going to see it regardless. And that there are people that they will fight you to continue to believe their lie rather than accept truth.
Yeah.
You know, that's the reason a lot of people, because their paradigm has been shaken so much, especially when it comes to these things that they're finding out where they had faith in governments and, different things like that, and different authorities, different institutions, and they found out that they've been betrayed. It's quite common for them to get to where it's not really a sense of paranoia. It's a matter of they trust no one, nothing, in a very unhealthy way. And it can cause people to go off the deep end.
Yeah, very much so.
And we've got people dropping off the edge daily.
Look at TikTok.
Oh, yeah, TikTok. Are you kidding? That is just, my God, that's a pre-screening tool is exactly what that is. I told you about that. So, if you've had experiences with supernatural, paranormal encounters, UFOs, aliens, cryptids,
spooky shit,
any spooky shit. If you've got stories of substances, experiences you may have had. I thought that was interesting about the ayahuasca yesterday.
I thought it was interesting too.
Yeah. So, like I said, we don't judge anybody, and I had put it in the comment box yesterday. I don't know whether anybody bothered to read it. When we discuss substances,
the
this is... Yeah, the description. What did I say? Comment box?
Comment box.
It's there somewhere. It's like we're not telling people to do or not to do. As adults, we figure you've got enough sense to make your own choices. So,
You're grown-ass people. You can do whatever you want.
Absolutely. We're just here to ask questions. We're pondering. So, if you've got local, regional, family, myths, legends, kids about to fall over,
I am about to fall
send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. I will continue to work on the Jim Jones thing. My God, that
For
was...
how many days?
Well, it's like this. I was a kid when this happened. I remember the news reports very much. And at that point, you know what the news told you, because that was what they watched the news, they believed the news, and we were all foolish.
Y'all just didn't know.
Exactly.
It wasn't foolish.
Well, I think it is too. Anytime that you believe talking heads on any kind of a screen blindly, that's kind of foolish. But that was one thing about, I think, growing up questioning was because that, Dad was a Marine. Yeah. And it's one of those, he once believed in many things until he saw and experienced, and it made him question a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Blind faith in anything will get you killed. So thank you for sharing time with us. Thank you for pondering with us, having coffee. Know that you were loved.
Yes.
And that's a legitimate thing, that nobody's here on this planet by mistake. And if you need just someone to sit there and go, hey, we're glad you're here. We give a damn.
Hi, you exist.
Yeah, send us an email, and we'll sit there and try to help you, as far as, if nothing else, make you feel better in the moment. We'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Because we know what it's like to feel isolated, all that stuff, and that's not fun.
No, it's not fun.
So, anyhow, you all have a beautiful, blessed day, and we'll see you on the next cup.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and most of all, subscribe, but also like. That gets us in the algorithm. Help us get in the
hell with the algorithm.
Help us get in the algorithm. No matter what Mom says over here, help us get in the algorithm.
Screw the algorithm. Seriously.
Just ignore her on that. Help us.
No, man. I like
spread the word.
I like being a micro mini. I can fly under the radar. That's my that's my special superhuman power. Aliens. Bye.
Dude, bye.